Jai Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जयाद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जयाद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जयाद्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद कृष्ण लीलामृत सार तार शत शत धार दश दीक बहे जहाते से चैतन्य लीलाय सरोवराख्याय मनाहं सचराहताते Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome. Let's try to bring the swan of our mind to absorb in the pastime of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with Srimad Nityananda Prabhu. So, last time we were discussing how in the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, Lakshman, he was younger brother and he did not have much to speak about Ramchandra's discomfort, even though he was not very happy to see how in different occasions Lord Ramchandra had to go through severe austerities. That was not very much liked by Lakshman. So, therefore, in form of Krishna, when Krishna became the younger brother, now Lakshman has become elder brother as Balram. So, at this time, Balram is acting like his guru. So, he is able to take care of Krishna in a better way. So, similarly, when this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, who is also Krishna himself, and Srimad Nityananda Prabhu, who is also elder to Srimad Mahaprabhu, he was able to also take care of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in a better mood. So in that way, now this Lakshman or Nityananda Prabhu, they are the plenary portion of Krishna, or you can say Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Sri Ramchandra also is plenary portion of Krishna, and Krishna is the source of Sri Ramachandra. That is explained in Brahma Samhita. So the evidence of such a statement we see as follows in text number 155, Adilila chapter 5. Ramadimurti sukala niyamena tishtan nana karot bhuvaneshu kintu Krishna swayam samabhavat paramah pumanjo Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who by his various plenary persons appears in the world in different forms and incarnations, such as Lord Ram, but who personally appears in his supreme original form as Lord Krishna. So, in this verse, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is going to establish that Lord Ramchandra, who is a Swangsha of Krishna, or you can say the plenary person of Krishna, and but Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. So, in this verse, Jiva Goswami writes, "So eva kadachit prapanche nijang shena swayam avatarati iti aha ramadi iti." Means he. So means he who Krishna sometimes descends himself and sometimes descends in his own plenary person in the world. That means Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So when he comes himself, he is the avatari. He is the source of all incarnations. And at some other time, he expands himself through his plenary person as Ramadimurti in form of Lord Ramchandra and others. How Krishnakya, one who is in the name of Krishna, who is he? Parama Puman, the supreme person. And Kala Niyamena Tatra Tatra Niyatanam Eva Shaktinam Prakashena. So Niyatanam Eva Shaktinam Prakashena. That means the Supreme Lord Krishna, in his unlimited forms, how he takes his unlimited forms? According to the proportionate display of his energy. He has manifested himself in his infinite forms since time immemorial. That is the point. That means this word Ramadi Murtisu in this verse refers to the infinite forms of Lord Krishna. Means sometimes Krishna appears in form of Rama and others. So in this connection, as we said, that proportionate display of energy. Krishna, sometimes he came as Rama, Purusham, sometimes Lord Ramchandra, sometimes Barahadev, sometimes Meena. So at different time, different quantity of energy display was essential. And we have discussed it in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The analogy has been taken by Srila Prabhupada. When we require to light up a small room, you need a small wattage bulb. But at the same time, when we want to light up a bigger size room, we need a bigger wattage bulb. So similarly, whenever that potential energy is required for the protection, for the establishment of the religious principles on earth, Lord descends in that particular form and he displays that much power. For example, when Lord descended as Parashuram, at that time he had to display his heroism and he annihilated the Kshatriyas 21 times, right? So in that way, so this is how he descends in form of Rama and others as his plenary person, but Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Sai Krishna Nityananda Ram Nityananda Purna Kare Chaitanya Raka Nityananda Mahima Sindhu Ananta Pat Ekakana Sparshi Matra Je Kripa Tahat. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Lord Chaitanya is the same Lord Krishna, and Lord Nityananda is Lord Balram. Lord Nityananda fulfills all of Lord Chaitanya's desires. The ocean of Lord Nityananda's glories is infinite and unfathomable. Only by His mercy can I touch even a drop of it. So here the point to take a note on is that when Sri Krishna, He himself, in form of Sri Chaitanya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also Swayam Bhagavan. So he descends, but Balram, he expands as Nityananda Prabhu in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. But we should not be confused to know the difference between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu or Krishna and Balram. Just like we have heard before, Tahar Ditya Deha Sri Balaram. Balaram is the second body of Krishna. Similarly, Srimad Nityananda Prabhu is the second body of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Practically speaking, there is no difference. So, Lilaras Aswarite, to relish the pastime, that is the Vilasamurti. Nityananda Prabhu is the Vilasamurti of Srimad Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, in that way, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is saying, just like Sri Krishna or Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is infinite, similarly Nityananda Prabhu's glories are also infinite and unfathomable. But only by His mercy can I touch even a drop of it. That means, to the degree Lord reveals Himself to His devotee, to that degree only devotee can reveal the Lord to other devotees. आरैक गुणतार कृपार महिमा अधम जीवेर चढ़ाइल ऊर्ध्व सीमा. Please listen to another glory of His mercy. He made a fallen living entity climb to the highest limit. That means now Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami will speak and the unfathomable mercy of Sri Nityananda. वेद गुह्य कथाई अजुग्य कहिते तथापि कहिए तार कृपा प्रकाशिते. To disclose it is not proper, for it should be kept as confidential as the Vedas. Yet I shall speak of it to make His mercy known to all. Now, Sri Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is saying that Veda Gupya Kathai, the mercy that Sri Krishna Kaviraj Goswami had received from Nityananda Prabhu is as confidential as the words of the Vedas. But he is saying, because it is the mercy of Srimad Nityananda Prabhu, therefore I am going to reveal it to all. So what is saying? उल्लास उपरि लेखो तुम्हार प्रसाद नित्यानंद प्रभु मोरो क्षमा अपराध. So first of all, he is begging his forgiveness to Nityananda Prabhu. O Lord Nityananda, I write of your mercy out of great exaltation. Please forgive me for my offenses. So now he is going to speak about the mercy he had received from Srimad Nityananda Prabhu, starting with text number 161. अवधूत गोसाईर एक भृत्य प्रेमोधाम मीनकेतन रामदास तार नाम. The Nityananda Prabhu had a servant named Minaketana Ramdas, who are a servitor of law. That means this Minaketana Ramdas, he was always showing the symptom of ecstasy, Ashtasattvik Vikar, in his body because he was always in constant connection with Balram. He was, that's why I said, a reservoir of love. Means at a time, at different times, we can see tears roll down from his eyes, a shivering of the body, hair standing on end. So these kind of ecstatic symptoms were very much prominent in the body of Minaketana Ramadasa. This was due to his deep love for Sri Balram. Wherever he visited, he felt he is with Balram. And when people respected him, he would see that people are respecting Balram, not him. And people, when they don't respect him, rather actually he is thinking people are not respecting Balram. That kind of love, we can say, the ecstasy, he was always carrying in his mood. So now, Amar alay ho ratro sankirtan tahate aila te ho paya nimantran. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, one day in our house we hold a 24 hours Sankirtan. You know, this is a very famous practice in Bengal, in Odisha also. Sometimes after they get new grain, especially because people they get new grain, they have a lot of wealth, so they hold these 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours kirtan. The people come sit in one place, they have a particular system. How for 24 hours or for 48 hours, there will be no gap. Okay, one party will come, next party will come, they will perform continuous chanting of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and then Gaur Nitai also will be there in that festival. And on the final day, they will cook lot of prasad, bhoga, rice, dal, sabji. That's called Mohotsav. And they will invite the villagers or their relatives in hundreds in number. Sometimes like thousands of people who gather to honor Mahaprasadam. So that is what he is referring to, that one day they had this 24 hours kirtan in his house, to which Minaketana Ramdas was invited. So Minaketana Ramdas, he arrived in Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's house. महाप्रेम मोयते हो बसिलांगने सकल वैष्णवतार वंदिला चरणे. Absorbed in emotional love, he sat in my courtyard, and all the Vaishnavas bowed down at his feet. Namaskar karite kar upadete chadhe preme kare bamsi preme kare bamsi mare kahare chapade. In a joyful mood of love of God, he sometimes climbed upon the shoulders of someone offering obeisances, and sometimes he struck others with his flute or mildly slapped them. So this is the mood of the manifestations of his love for Sri Balram. As you can see, Minaketana Ramdas is sitting in the courtyard, and different devotees are coming, they are offering obeisances to him. And according to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami description, when somebody is offering obeisances to him, at that time, out of ecstasy, Minaketana Ramdas, he doesn't have any external consciousness at that time. He is climbing to the shoulder of one who is offering obeisances to him. Sometimes he is slapping somebody. Sometimes he is hitting his flute in somebody's head. So this is how you can see was his behavior. That means upon seeing the eyes of Minaketana Ramdas, tears would flow from the eyes, from the mind of the living being through their own eyes. This is the explanation of Amrita Prabhavasya. That means we can understand that a devotee who is all constantly in the level of bhava, uh, just upon seeing such a devotee, the mind of a living being also starts to melt. This is what would happen. Whoever saw the flow of tears from the eyes of Minaketana Ramdas due to his love for Srimad Nityananda Prabhu. When someone saw the eyes of Minaketana Ramdas, tears would automatically flow from his own eyes. For a constant shower of tears flowed from the eyes of Minaketana Ramdas. Kabhuko ange dekhi pulaka kadamba ek ange jajyatar ar ange kampa. Sometimes there were eruptions of ecstasy like kadamba flowers on some parts of his body. Means there was turning of the hair on the end. And sometimes one limb would be stunned with while other would be trembling. Stambha and Kampa. These are the Sweda Kampa, Gadgada, Vaivarna, sometimes choking of the voice also, sometimes the body color changing, becoming pale. These are the ecstatic symptoms that was manifesting in the body of Minaketana Ramdas. Nityananda Parijabe Karena Hunkar Taha Dekhi Loker Hoy Maha Chamatkar. Whenever he shouted aloud the name Nityananda, the people around him were filled with great wonder and astonishment. So this calling out the name of Nityananda was out of ecstasy, out of prema. That's how people were filled with great wonder and astonishment. Gunarnava Mishra Name Eka Viprarja Srimurti Nikatate Ho Kare Seva Karya. So this Gunarnava Mishra was a respectable priest, Brahmana, was serving the deity of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. The name of the deity of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is Madan Gopal. So this Gunarnava Mishra used to come every day to the house of Krishnadas to do the worship to the deity. In India, this is the practice actually. Some people, they keep the deity and the Brahmana, every day they come, they offer the worship. Angane asiyate ho nakaila sambhas taha dekhi kuddha haya bale Ramdas eito dvitiya sutta roma harshana baladeva dekhi jena kaila pratyudgama. So when Minaketana Ramdas was seated on the courtyard of Krishnadas. So at that time, this Gunarnava Mishra, he was engaged in worshipping Madan Gopal. Some or other, all devotees, they came, when all devotees came to meet with Minaketana Ramdas, some or other, this Gunarnava Mishra, he did not come to greet Minaketana Ramdas. But upon seeing how he did not come, he avoided. So he's saying, oh, this Minaketana Ramdas is acting like Romaharsha. Here I find second Romaharsha Sutta, who did not stand to show honor when he saw Lord Balram. So here he is saying, you can see the deep meaning of this verse 170. He is saying when he did not show honor, when he did not stand to show honor when he saw Lord Balaram. So here, this is how you can understand, because Minaketana Ramdas was always in the mood of bhava. He was always feeling that Lord Balaram is with him. So here he is sitting on the courtyard of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, means Balaram is also there. So according to Minaketana Ramdas, this Gunano Mishra, who is engaged in the worship of the deity, but he is neglecting the Balaram here. And he is quoting him just like he is like Dvitiya Ramaharshana Sutta. Means we know in the, it is explained in this one Bhagavatam that all these sages, they gathered to hear the Puranas from Romaharshana. This Romaharshana was appointed as the speaker of Purana to the rishis. And while Balram was on pilgrimage, he came to that spot where all these sages had assembled to listen Purana from Romaharshana Sutta. And when Balram arrived in the assembly, all the sages, out of respect, they stood up. But Romaharshana Sutta was sitting on the Vyasasana. He did not stand. And he did not show any respect to Balram either. After, he didn't get down from the Vyasasana. So that is what here it is referred to by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, that Minaketana Ramdas is saying he is Ditya Ramaharshana Sutta, because he is not offering respect to Balram. Eto boli nache gai karai santosh, Krishna karya kare vipro na karilo. After saying this, he danced and sang to his heart's content. But Brahmana did not become angry, for he was then serving Lord Krishna. Purport. Minaketana Ramdas was a great devotee of Lord Nityananda. When he entered the house of Krishnadas Kaviraj, Gunano Mishra, the priest who was worshipping the deity installed in the house, did not receive him very well. A similar event occurred when Romaharshana Sutta was speaking to the great assembly of sages at Naimisharanya. Lord Baladev entered that great assembly, but since Romaharshana Sutta was on the Vyasasana, he did not get down to offer respect to Lord Baladev. The behavior of Gunana Mishra indicated that he had no great respect for Lord Nityananda, and this idea was not at all palatable to Minaketana Ramdas. For this reason, the mentality of Minaketana Ramdas is never deprecated by devotees. So in this pastime, Minaketana Ramdas is a devotee of Srimad Nityananda Prabhu, but always he is in the mood of Braj. He is a Gopal in Vrindavan, and this Nityananda is Balram. So nobody should find fault with Minaketana Ramdas. Utsavante gelati ho koriya prasad, moro bhrata mone taro kichu hailavad. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying that after the festival ended, Minaketana Ramdas, he went away. But before leaving, he actually gave blessings to everyone, but in particular to me. At that time, he had some controversy with my brother. Means when this Minaketana Ramdas was present at the house of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, at that time, so he had some argument. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's brother had argued with Minaketana Ramdas. What is that? Sri Chaitanya Prabhutetar Sudruda Vishwas Nityananda Pratitar Vishwas Abhas. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, What is the fault in his brother? His brother had deep regard for Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But for Nityananda Prabhu, Vishwas Abhas. He just believed in his words. Means, just for the sake of speaking, sometimes he will speak. But he did not have great respect for Nityananda Prabhu. Here you can see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. They are actually not different. So he is accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while rejecting Nityananda Prabhu. What is this? That is not correct. So Minaketana Ramadasa did not like it. That's what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying. Yaha jani Ramdaser dukho hoilo mane tabe to prabhate ami karimunu bhatsane. Knowing this, Sri Ramdas, Minaketana Ramdas, felt unhappy in his mind. I then rebuked my brother. So, because this discussion between Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's brother and Minaketana Ramdas was not very palatable. So, after Minaketana Ramdas left, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he rebuked his brother. How he contented his brother is explained in the 3 verses, 175, 76, and 77. Dvibhai ekatanu samana prakash Nityananda namana tomar have sarvanas. Ekete vishwas anye nakar samman ardha kukkuti nyay tamar praman kimba dohana panya hoto pasando kimba dohana mania hoto pasando eke mani arena mani eimoto bhando. So he's saying, Dui Bhai Ekatam, the 2 brothers, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they are identical manifestations. Saman Prakash means nobody should find difference in the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Naman, you don't believe in Lord Nityananda. Tomar Bhave Sarvanas means you will meet with destruction, you will fall down. Ekete Vishwas Anye Nakaro Samman. If you have faith in one but disrespect the other, your logic is like the logic of accepting half a hen theory. Many devotees know this quite well in ISKCON because our speakers in ISKCON, they quite often quote this half hen theory. What is that? It is explained. There is a village guy who had a hen, and this hen would lay 1 egg per day. So he was very happily making his living by selling this egg in the market. And after some time, he thought the front part of the hen is very expensive. The rear part is very beneficial. So he's thinking, oh, I can cut the front part and I can eat. And at the same time, I'll leave the rear part, and without incurring any expenditure, I will continue to get the egg from the hen. So thinking in this way, he cut the front part of the hen's body. Now you can know what will happen. As soon as you cut the front part, no, it stops laying the egg and it left its body. So the point is here, just like we cannot accept only one part of the hen's body, similarly, when there is an explanation given to a particular philosophy, the evidence is given, it has to be taken full. Not that one part which is not able to explain the pramana, the siddhanta, the concept, the truth, clearly, we accept that part and leave the other part. That is just like cutting a hen to half, and it's going to die. It's not going to convey any meaning. So similarly, when we are explaining the logic, so the logic should be explained in totality. Kimba dohana mania hoto pasanda eke mani arena mani ei mato bhanda. You are a great hypocrite. And okay, those who do not believe in the God, they are actually atheists. So it would be better to be an atheist. That means Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is saying, okay, if you don't accept Nityananda Prabhu, then don't accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. You are accepting a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu but not accepting Nityananda Prabhu. You are an atheist. So in that way. And atheist, by slighting both rather than a hypocrite, by believing in one and slighting the other. So here what he's saying is, he's saying, look, those who are pasandis, atheists, they are very much seen in their way of behavior or their practice. So one can very easily avoid those kind of people. But those are hypocrites. The hypocrites are very difficult to know. That means those who are hypocrites, they are more dangerous than the atheists. That's what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is trying to say. Means his mood is, my dear brother, you are more dangerous than an atheist. So that means I am not going to stay with you. Buddhaya Vamsi Bhangi Chale Ramadas Tatkale Amar Bhatar Hoilo Sarvanas. So here Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, since my brother did not accept Nityananda Prabhu while accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that caused anger in Minaketana Ramadasa, and this Minaketana Ramadasa, he broke his flute in anger and went away. And at that time, my brother fell down. Well, this is a very interesting point. Tatkale amar bhratar hoilo sarvanas. How can Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami say that a pure devotee of the Lord like Minaketana Ramdas, he became angry, and his anger is going to destroy everything in the life of the brother Krishnadas? Definitely, he will not attain any spiritual harm. Means, actually, we can explain it like that. For example, you see this Nala, Kuvar and Manikrit, the two sons of Ved. They actually offended Nalmani. Nalmani became angry at them and he cursed them, right? Well, what happened as a result of Nalmani's curse, they were born as the twin Arjuna tree on the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj in Gokul. That's how they were able to witness the manifest pastime of Krishna. And that was a kind of blessing, you can say. So that means when a sadhu, when a pure devotee of the Lord, they become angry, their anger is a form of mercy given to the person. So in that way, from the spiritual perspective, it is not a loss actually. As when he became angry, his anger did not cause much problem to this Nalakubar and Manikura. They got the darshan of Krishna. Eito kahilatar sevaka prabhav, eito kahitar dayar swabhav. I have thus described the power of the servant of Lord Nityananda. Now I shall describe another characteristic of his mercy. ভাইকে ভৎসিনুই লইয়া এই গুণ সেই রাত্রে প্রভু মরে দিলা দর্শন। That night, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream because of my good quality in chastising my brother. Because Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's brother had offended a devotee, therefore he could not tolerate the insult. Therefore, he chastised his brother. In return, he got the mercy of Srimad Nityananda Prabhu at night. Means Nityananda Prabhu appeared to him in his dream. नैहाटी निकटे झामट पुरो नामे ग्राम तहा स्वप्ने देखा दिला नित्यानंद राम. In the village of Jhamatpur, which is near Naihati, Lord Nityananda appeared to me in a dream. There is now a railway line to Jhamatpur. If one wants to go there, he can take a train on the Katwa railway line and go directly to the station known as Salar. From that station, one can go directly to Jhamatpur. Direction given here. दंडवत हय्यामी पड़िनु पायते निज पाद पद्म प्रभु दिला मोर माथे. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to Krishnadas Kaviraj and dream, at that time he offered his obeisances to Srimad Nityananda Prabhu, and at that time Nityananda Prabhu placed his lotus feet on the head of Krishnadas. And he said, "Utho utho boli mare bole bar bar, uthitar rupo dekhi hoino chamatkar." At the time when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offered obeisances to the lotus feet of Srimad Nityananda Prabhu, he said, "Rise, get up." He told me again and again. Upon rising, I was greatly astonished to see his beauty. What beauty he had seen? श्याम चिक्कण कांति प्रकांड शरीर साक्षात कंदर्प जैछे महामल्लवीर. श्याम चिक्कण कांति. He had a glossy blackish complexion. See, this is an interesting point. That is how he was very astonished to see the form, the beauty of Srimad Nityananda. Nityananda Prabhu, he has appeared in the dream of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, assuming a blackish, a glossy blackish complexion. That means he can see, here is Nityananda Prabhu. Actually, Nityananda Prabhu or Balram's complexion is white, and Nityananda Prabhu's complexion is reddish yellow. So, but here I don't see Nityananda's complexion like reddish yellow, neither resembling the color of Balram. But here he is looking like Krishna, blackish complexion. So that means it's confirmed that he is actually not different from Krishna. And his tall, strong, heroic stature made him seem like Cupid himself. Subarita hastapada kamalanayam pattavastra shire pattavastra paridhan. He had beautifully formed hands, arms, and legs, and eyes like lotus flowers. He wore a silk cloth with a silk turban on his head. Suvarna kundala karne swarnangadvala payate nukuravaje kanthe puspamala. He wore golden earrings on his ears and golden armlets and bangles. He wore tinkling anklets on his feet and a garland of flowers around his neck. This is his beauty, Nityananda Prabhu beauty. Chandana lepitango tilaka sutham madagaja mattagaja jini madha manthara payan. His body was astonished, his body was anointed with sandalwood pulp, and he was nicely decorated with tilak. His movements surprised those of a maddened elephant. Koti Jinisu Koti Chandra Jinimuk Ujjvala Varan Dadimba Bija Samadanto Tambula Charva. His face was more beautiful than millions upon millions of moons, and his teeth were like pomegranate seeds because of his chewing beetle. प्रेमे मत्त अंग दाहिने बामे दोले कृष्ण कृष्ण बलिया गंभीर बोल बोले. His body moved to and fro, right and left, for he was absorbed in ecstasy. He chanted Krishna, Krishna in a deep voice. Ranga jasti haste dole jenamatta singho Charipase Bediache Charone Tetinga. His red stick moving in his hand. He seemed like a maddened lion. All around the four sides of his feet were bumblebees. So devotees have been described as the bumblebees. What does it mean? The significance of such description is that just like bumblebee, when they come near the flower to collect honey, they make humming sound, right? And so the devotees, when they came to the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, when they were near the Lord, or you can say in general also, when devotees they gather together, they actually don't just sit quiet. They also make the humming sound. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Sometimes they chant Krishna's name. Sometimes they sing the holy name. Sometimes they will sing some songs describing the activities, qualities, and some other pastimes of the Supreme Lord. So this is how devotees have been compared to the bumblebees, and they are testing the nectar through the course of chanting or glorifying the personality of Godhead. Parishad gane dekhi sab gopavese Krishna Krishna kahe sabe preme avese. His devotees, dressed like cowherd boys, surrounded his feet like so many bees and also chanted Krishna, Krishna, absorbed in ecstatic love. Singa bansi bajai keho nache gai, sevako jogai tambul chamara dulai. Some of them played horn and flutes, and others danced and sang. Some of them offered betel nuts, and others waved chamar of fans about him. Nityananda Swarupe Dekhya Vaibhav Kiva Rupa Guna Lila Lauki Kasha. Thus I saw such opulence in Lord Nityananda Swarup. His wonderful form, qualities, and pastimes are all transcendental. Anande biholo ami kichu nahi jani, tobe hasi Prabhu more kahile no bani. I was overwhelmed with transcendental ecstasy, not knowing anything else. Then Lord Nityananda smiled and spoke to me as follows. Hare Hare Krishna Das Nakaraha Bhai Vrindavane Jaho Taha Sarva Labhya Hai. So Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu Addressing Krishnadas, he said, "Oh my dear Krishnadas, don't be afraid. Go to Vrindavan, for there you will attain all things." এত বলি প্রেরিলা মোরে হাত মানি দিয়া অন্তর্ধান কইল প্রভু নিজ গণ লইয়া. After saying this, he directed me toward Vrindavan by waving his hand. Then he disappeared with his associates. মূর্ছিত হইয়া মুই পড়িনু ভূমিতে স্বপ্ন ভঙ্গ হইল দেখি হইয়াছে প্রভাতে. I fainted and fell to the ground. My dream broke, and when I regained consciousness, I saw that morning had come. কি দেখিনু কি শুনিনু করিয়ে বিচার প্রভু আজ্ঞা হইল বৃন্দাবন যাইবা. I thought about what I had seen and heard and concluded that the Lord had ordered me to proceed to Vrindavan at once. সেই ক্ষণে বৃন্দাবনে করিনু গমন প্রভুর কৃপাতে সুখে আইনু বৃন্দাবন. জয় জয় নিত্যানন্দ নিত্যানন্দ রায়, যাহার কৃপাতে পাইনু বৃন্দাবন ধাম. জয় জয় নিত্যানন্দ জয় কৃপাময়, যাহা হইতে পাইনু রূপ সনাতন আশ্রয়. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, thus, after he was ordered by Srimad Nityananda Prabhu, that very second, means in the morning time, when he woke up from his dream, and he's saying when he came out to the external consciousness, at that time, what happened? I started from Vrindavan. He didn't want to delay. He didn't want to stay in the house of his brother. And by his mercy, I reached there in great happiness. So he went to Vrindavan, arrived there. And all glory to Nityananda Balaram, by whose mercy I have attained shelter in the transcendental abode of Vrindavan. And he's saying, all glory to merciful Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana. So, should we continue? Maybe one more. Okay. যাহা হইতে পাইনু রঘুনাথ মহাশয়, যাহা হইতে পাইনু শ্রী স্বরূপ আশ্রয়. By his mercy, I have attained the shelter of the great personality Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, and by his mercy, I have found the refuge of Sri Swarup Damodar. Purport: anyone desiring to become expert in the service of Sri Radha and Krishna should always aspire to be under the guidance of Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. To come under the protection of the Goswamis, one must get the mercy and guidance of Nityananda Prabhu. The author has tried to explain this fact in these two verses. That interesting comment Prabhupada is making. To come under the protection of the Goswamis, one must get the mercy and grace of Nityananda Prabhu. The author has tried to explain this fact in these two verses. So that means we have to be very eager to get the mercy of Srimad Nityananda Prabhu first. And then you get the mercy of the devotees. Like here Prabhupada is mentioning the name of the Goswamis. Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. So these Goswamis' guidance, then only one can get. Sanatan Kripaye Painu Bhakti Siddhanta Sirup Kripaye Painu Bhakti Rasapranto. By the mercy of Sanatan Goswami, I have learned the final conclusions of devotional service, and by the mercy of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. Very interesting. Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is speaking that by the grace of Rupa Goswami, the two verses that before, 202 and the two before that verse, these two verses, Prabhu. So, by the grace of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. That means Sri Rupa Goswami, he has compiled the literatures like, Buddhisamrita, Bhakti-samrita, Ujjwal Nilamani, many other literature. So when Sanatana Goswami also has given commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam, when a devotee reads such literatures, then there is a high possibility that he will be qualified to test the highest nectar of devotional service. Purport: Sri Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, the teacher of the science of devotional service, wrote several books, of which the Brihat Bhagavatamrita is very famous. Anyone who wants to know about the subject matter of devotional service and Krishna must read this book. Sanatana Goswami also wrote a special commentary on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam known as Dasama Tippani, which is so excellent that by reading it, one can understand very deeply the pastimes of Krishna in his exchanges of loving activities. Another famous book by Sanatana Goswami is the Hari Bhakti Vilas, which states the rules and regulations for all divisions of Vaishnavas, namely Vaishnava householders, Vaishnava brahmacharis, Vaishnava vanaprasthas, and Vaishnava sannyasis. This book was especially written, however, for Vaishnava householders. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has described Sanatana Goswami in his prayer, Vilapa Kusumanjali, verse 6, where he has expressed his obligation to Sanatana Goswami in the following words: Vairagya Yuga Bhakti Rasam Prayatnair Apayayan Mam Anabhipsumandham Kripam Budhirja Pradukha Dukhi Sanatanastam Prabhum Asrayami. I was unwilling to drink the nectar of devotional service possessed of renunciation, but Sanatana Goswami, out of his boundless mercy, made me drink it, even though I was otherwise unable to do so. Therefore, he is an ocean of mercy. He is very compassionate to fallen souls like me, and thus it is my duty to offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami also, in the last section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, specifically mentions the names of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Stajiva Goswami, and others, and offers his respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of these three spiritual masters, as well as Raghunath Das. So Raghunath Das Goswami also accepted Sanatana Goswami as the teacher of the science of devotional service. Sri Rupa Goswami is described as the Bhakti Rasacharya, or one who knows the essence of devotional service. His famous book, Bhakti Samrita Sindhu, is the science of devotional service. And by reading this book, one can understand the meaning of devotional service. Another of his famous book is the Ujjal Nilamani. In this book, he elaborately explains the loving affairs and transcendental activities of Lord Krishna and Radharani. So he is Rasacharya, Rupa Goswami. He is Rasacharya. He knows the Rasa Tattva very clearly. That's why he was able to compile this wonderful literature which is called Ujjal Nilamani. Mostly confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna are explained in that book. So let us keep our subject on hold with text number 204. So we'll continue from the next class from 204. So if you have any question or comment, dear devotees, maybe we can spend some time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Silas Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanava Pranam, Jogesh Prabhupada. Thank you for a wonderful, wonderful class, very nectarian. I have a couple of questions, just in terms of I'm trying to get the chronology understood in my mind. So when this Leela of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami getting the dream of Nityananda Prabhu, I presume Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu had already departed and left the material world back to the spiritual abode, or were they still somehow present on the planet or not at the time?
No, they were no more present at that time.
Because, so, I mean, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami never actually met either, did they?
But he knows, no?
No, but he never came into direct.
Even if you have not met, do you understand who is Chaitanya and who is Nityananda, what is their complexion, how they look like? You know?
Yeah. No, I know spiritually, of course, it's a different matter. I'm just saying physically there was, at the time in terms of chronology,
that is not there.
Yeah, okay. Second question, Prabhuji, in terms of Lord Balaram's, I guess, tattva philosophical question, his mood as Balaram and Nityananda is as...
No, you see, sorry. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's brother, he was not, actually they had, he had darshan of Nityananda Prabhu. Right? I think so. Minaketana Ramadasa was his servant. And I'll check it out. Maybe I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the chronology roughly. That's all. I wasn't questioning the philosophical side of course, darshan and his dream is one and the same. You know, I understand the spiritual side. I just wanted to work out the chronology as to whether he'd actually physically had darshan or not. So I'm trying to understand also the Balaram's and Nityananda tattva in philosophy. When their mood as Lord Balaram is one of service to Lord Krishna, and yet Lord Balaram is also the origin of all other incarnations. So when he expands and incarnates as Lord Ram, Lord Nrsimha, etc., he then takes on the mood of Krishna in terms of master. Is there anything we need to kind of understand in that? Because his primary mood is one of service to Lord Krishna, as is paraphernalia, as is everything else. But
don't get confused. That verse Ramadi Murti Sukala Niyamena Tishtan Nana Vadar Mako Dukonesu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samava Paramakuman. Actually, that have been described here because we are simultaneously discussing Nityananda Tattva. So that's why Baldev is coming, and we are discussing. Also, we are discussing Lakshman. Here, the main thread is that Nityananda Prabhu, who is actually he is actually Balram, and that same Nityananda Prabhu was also Lakshman, and Krishna in different form as Ram and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these two tattvas simultaneously being discussed. This is how we should understand. The Krishna's plenary portion is Lord Ramchandra. So similarly, the Balaram is expanding himself in form of Lakshmana also, you can say like that, in Ram Lila. So that is one understanding. But when you say Balaram expands himself, these other incarnations are coming. There's another thread of explanation given, like Balaram, then the Chaturbhyuha, then the Chaturbyuha in Parabhyam, then from the Sankarshan comes the Karnadoksai Vishnu, then Garudaksai Vishnu, then Kshudaksai Vishnu, then this Vishnu. Again, these three Vishnus are not different. All of the avatars are coming from Garudaksai Vishnu, or sometimes it's at Kshudaksai Vishnu, but it doesn't make any difference because Vishnu is Three Rupani. So there's another kind of way to explain the Tattva. So when you understand Tattva, you have to see which context it is being explained. Don't mix these two understandings together.
Yeah, no, I wasn't mixing the two. I was just I was trying to understand down the other Tattva line where he, through the Chaturbhyuha and Mahavishnu, and then expanding into each of the incarnations that come on board. There he, although his primary mood is one of service, in those particular expansions he takes the mood of master. Is that?
That is explained as a Sesha, okay? But in form of this Vishnu Murti, actually there's another way to explain. See, like Krishna, he assumes the different Purusha incarnation, Purusha form, because he is involved with the creation aspect. He cannot touch Maya directly in form of Krishna. Therefore, he expands himself into Vishnu Murti forms. So there's another way to see that, thing. That's what I'm saying. Here, the context is how we are trying to understand the relationship, the correlation between Balram, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramchandra, Lakshman, then Krishna, Balram. So that is how is the kind of thread in this section flowing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Indulekha Kripa Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you for the class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just want to know about one confusion. Prabhuji, we heard in Shloka number 169 that Ramadas, that Gunarnava Mishra, this one was there, no, Prabhuji?
Gunarnava Mishra, can you tell me?
Yes, Prabhuji. He was not offering any obeisances to Ramadas, Sri Ramadas. So he becomes angry. And later also it is said that, but Brahmana did not. Can you just explain, Prabhuji, what is it? I didn't understand it properly.
What?
Prabhuji, now, like Gunarnava Mishra did not offer any obeisances to Sri Ramadas. So, and he becomes little bit angry. Later, it is written that in 171, it is said that...
In where?
In 168, it is said that Gunarnava Mishra did not offer, he was serving the Lord. And in 169, it is said that Ramadasa became angry. And in 171, it is written that Brahmana did not become angry. So can you just clarify that? Because I didn't understand what is exactly.
There, because Gunarnava Mishra did not offer the respect to Minaketana Ramdas, and Minaketana Ramdas became angry.
Okay, Prabhu.
But there, in 71, it said that the priest who was this Gunarnava Mishra was not angry actually. That's a different thing.
Okay.
That is, the part 71 is talking about Gunarnava Mishra, but here in 69 and 70, we are discussing Minaketana Ramdas became angry.
Okay.
Actually, Minaketana Ramdas didn't become angry because he did not receive any respect from Gunanam Mishra. No, his mood is, I'm here with Balram.
Okay.
Or Nityananda Prabhu, you can also say, because he is devotee of Nityananda Prabhu. And this guy is not offering respect to Nityananda Prabhu. What he is doing? That was his mood actually, Bhava. He was in the mood of, in the Bhava mood.
Okay.
In the Bhava platform, yeah.
So now this Gunarna Mishra is not same as like Krishnaraj Kavidas Swami's brother, no, Prabhuji? I think he is somebody else.
He was his family priest.
Okay, okay, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one more question I am having, but not from today's class, Prabhuji, because I missed the last week's class. And I have one question from there, Prabhuji, from text number 149. So,
149.
Yes, Prabhu. So can you just tell me the purport, Prabhuji? I didn't understand in this one, because here Nityananda Prabhu is told as Brahmachari. Really, I think he is not Brahmachari. No, Nityananda Prabhu is maintained himself as a Brahmachari. But
149, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Nityananda Swarup Purbe Hoila Lakshman Laghu Bhrata Hoya Kore Ramer Sevan.
Yes, Prabhuji. In the purport, it is given that Nityananda Prabhu maintains himself as a Brahmachari. And he never took sannyasa. But Nityananda Prabhu was not Brahmachari, no, Prabhuji. He's Mataji was like Janava Mata was there after. So can you just explain, Prabhuji, regarding this?
So, Grihasthas are not brahmacharis?
Yes, Prabhuji, they are. Prabhuji.
So Grihasthas are also brahmachari, no?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
And Nityananda Prabhu is not like, cannot be taken in the category of an ordinary Grihastha.
Yes, Prabhu.
He is performing the pastime. And of course, he was also an Avadhut.
Yes,
so, he can be simultaneously brahmachari, Grihastha, Bhagavata, and sannyasi. But most of the time, you can see the mood. He was in a service mood, no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Brahmachari serves the Lord.
Yes.
So in that way, Nityananda Swarup, he never took sannyas. As a brahmachari, his name was Nityananda Swarupa. And therefore, the sannyas under whom he was living must have been from the tirthas and ashramas and Shankara of the Sampradaya. So here Prabhupada, what is mentioning is, like you see, Nityananda Prabhu, he was brahmachari, right?
Yes.
And then there is a system that the brahmachari has to be under the guidance of a sannyasi. And in Shankara Sampradaya, different sannyasi under whom the brahmachari remains, they have particular name. So that is what Prabhupada is referring to. That Nityananda Swarupa means he belongs to that sampradaya, that sannyasi sampradaya, where the name, the sannyasi is Swarupa. That is what he is referring to. And after that, he became Grihastha. So what is the problem? Like, for example, see, because that is not practiced in our sampradaya, that's why it's quite difficult to understand. In our sampradaya, some brahmacharis are there in temple, and after that, they become also Grihastha, right?
Yes.
But when they become Grihastha, we cannot say that as a brahmachari, he was like this. We can say, right?
Yes.
So that means this, as a brahmachari, his name was Nityananda Swarup, because he was under that sannyasi who was a Swarupa. There are different name actually. Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions. But in our society, what happened? That name is not given, different name is not given. Our practice is a little different.
Okay. Okay. Now it is clear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Pancha kalpataru hasya kripa smudhevacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo. Anta koti vaishnava binda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Grace Padmanabhan Prabhu ki jai.
Yeah.
Gaura Premanand.